好，你好，Regan。
嗨，你好。
好，今天我们其实是要聊一下关于拼音的问题，因为其实你知道，最近我的学生他发现了有一个很好的网站，可以练习你的语音，然后你可以把你的 audio 发给他，他会分析你哪个字念的不好，你的哪个拼音念的不好，你的哪个声调不好。所以我今天想聊一下。因为你的普通话的发音真的比较标准，所以我想问你关于拼音的一些问题，可以吗？
可以啊。I'm just curious. Is that this website? Is it an app? Is it free or do you pay for that?
还挺贵的啊，就是你要付一个课程的钱，所以而且你可以选的不一样。如果你想要更仔细一点的分析，你需要花更多的钱。你只要一般的分析，那你可能花就是一般的钱，所以不一样。但是它会给你一个数字，它会给你的每个字打分。就是你一
Wow.
句话，他给你这个字，你这个字念得很好，他给你100分；这个字念得不好，他给你70分。我的学生发给我看的时候，我惊呆了。所以我觉得，我想聊一下这个话题。
Yeah, well, thank you for complimenting me. Kwawa. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm ready. What's the question?
好，就是关于你学发音，我其实是想问的第一个问题，你可能不用回答我具体的数字，但是你学发音就是花过钱吗？
花过钱.
你有没有花钱去上发音课？
Well, yeah, see, that's a difficult question to answer because I did have some beginner classes. Like I took a 1 year 一年在大学, right? 1 year in university at you could say it's like 孔子学院 organized in the university.
嗯哼，
And I had a very old teacher. He must have been about 50 something, maybe 60 something. So he was quite old, and the other teachers as well, also a lot older, and sort of more traditional. They go a bit slower and they're more careful with things. And um, I want to rush everything and just learn it as fast as I can, but they go real slow with the pinyin, and you spend about 2-3 months with just pinyin, and then after that, finally you start moving into the characters, but you're still you keeping with the pinyin, focusing on the pinyin. So I did have like one good year of maybe let's say 2 hours a week of Chinese, and at the beginning it was a lot of pinyin. Yeah, so yeah, does that answer your question for the
嗯哼，
formal study for Pinyin stuff? Yeah.
嗯哼。那我另外一个问题就来了，就是你觉得对你提高最大的是你去上的发音课，还是说你跟中国人聊天学的发音对你的帮助最大？
I just feel like you really need the foundation of Pinyin, and it has to be taught to you by very, very carefully to make sure that you get everything right, get everything perfect, because that is then going to be the thing, like the tool or the tools that you use to then study by yourself and have these all these conversations with people. You really need that so that when you are talking with people later, you can write down all of this stuff using Pinyin, and you can really get a sort of faster, cleaner approach. And then also in the long term, you get a much more efficient and just sort of better sounding um, sort of overall study. What do you want to call that? Strategy, let's say. So for the long term, you really want to get those sounds right. You don't want to rush that part. So the first couple months of focusing on pinyin has to be done very seriously, and then everything else after that, you can just do whatever you want. You don't have to think or worry too much about it.
嗯，但我觉得很奇怪的是，就是我遇到的两种学生，就是一种学生是发音特别不好，特别奇怪，还有另外一种学生就是发音特别好，特别牛，听起来就像中国人。我特别奇怪的是，我没有遇到过发音中间，就是他有一点儿好，有一点不好，我从来没有遇到过这样的学生。所以对我来说，是不是外国人在学拼音的时候，他们突然一下拼音就变好了，发音就变好了？ 因为我好像没有见过中间的学生。
That's interesting. Yeah, I could also say that um, I think you're right. There's a lot of people who find it difficult to get rid of their accent, their first language accent, or their native language accent, um, and that's not an easy thing to do. But I'm also thinking that there's a lot of people that are just really good at Chinese, and then a lot of people that are not very good, and that it's often difficult to find the people in the middle, like the intermediate level. It's not the same thing as you're talking about, but um, maybe that also has something to do with it as well. No?
嗯，对啊，我不确定，因为我遇到的学生就是他的水平很高，但是他的发音很奇怪，很 beginner。但是我也遇到过，就是水平很低，但是发音很好的学生。所以对我来说，好像他们的发音学习不是一个过程，是突然一下子就 skip 到很高的水平了。所以我想知道你有没有，就是你在什么时候发现自己的发音就突然变标准了？
Yeah, maybe some of this, like I could just say that it's possible that your first language is influencing your Chinese sound. And that's a very real thing. Even in English, you have people from all around the world. They have accents when they speak. But in terms of sounding good and sounding nice and sounding Chinese, Chinesey sounding more native. Yeah, that's a difficult thing. Sorry, what was the question again?
对，我的问题是，就是你在什么时候发现自己的发音变标准了？
Yeah, well, even today, I don't really feel like it's Belgian, and I still have a lot of problems. And I know I think the more you learn, the more you know where your problems are. It's just a matter of are you someone that takes those problems and then tries to fix them? And I'm a bit lazy and I don't do that. But I've always been interested in making sure that my sound is good. And one of those things, because I know, because I've listened to so many foreigners trying to learn English and so many Chinese people trying to learn English, and I know how difficult it is to listen to people that have obviously, are not thinking about how they sound when they speak. And that's fine because, we're all hearing ourselves differently when we're talking. Not everyone is listening to their voice messages again and again and again. Go, oh wow, that doesn't sound very good. I got to make that softer. I got to slow down a bit. I got to pronounce things a bit better. And that's a painful experience for some people listening to their own voice. And then to sound good with your own voice and your own language is difficult enough. And then to try to apply that in a second language or a third language that you learn, man, it's so difficult. So, and I've always liked the philosophy of singing. Listen
嗯哼。
to the people that sing, listen to the people that sound nice, try to listen to them more, focus on them, and then focus also on yourself and how you sound, and do the voice messages, listen to the voice messages, maybe make videos of yourself or whatever you can just to get that feedback to help you change the way that you speak. Yeah, so there's my short answer to that question. But I
好，
don't really think I'm that good. I really feel like I have a long way to go. Sometimes I can put a clean sentence together that sounds real natural, and then people don't know that I'm maybe a foreigner or a non-native. And then other times I might just say one word and someone goes, "Wagwaran,"
嗯，
So
不会吧？OK，但其实因为我的老家是南方的，所以对于我来说，对我南方口音的人来说，我觉得你的口音算是比较标准的。因为其实很多学生也发现，我有时候说的普通话也不标准，特别是和我就分不清楚，从来分不清楚这两个音。好，就
mm.
是
Do you mean like the in and in, like
对，
I in? Oh my God, yeah, that's a killer for everyone. Yep.
不会吧？你会觉得这样的音对你来说很难吗？我觉得英语里面也有这样的音啊。
There's some people that just don't. They're. I don't want to say they're lazy, but they just don't. Tama bufa. When
对，
there's a G on the end, they just bufa. It's just the
嗯
same
哼，
as I in. Yeah, just the same as I in.
嗯，那我现在又有一个新的问题，就是你在学好了就是发音以后，你听北方人听得懂，那你觉得听南方人的普通话你听得懂吗？会有困难吗？
Mm, no, I think it's like if people are using 普通话, using that real Belgian pronunciation with the following Pinyin rules, the Pinyin system, then generally I don't find much difference between north and south.
嗯哼，
I would say I'll just add in here that maybe um, people from sort of more of the western part of China,
嗯
like
哼，
people from Xinjiang, have like really good
嗯
sounding English, and their approach to English, like their use of English, their word choice and their topic choice and stuff is like pretty high level for a lot of the people I've met from Xinjiang. But North and South, I find there's no difference. It's all about just word choice and, how Belgian can you be? Yeah.
嗯。好，那最后一个问题就是对于正在学习发音的人来说，你会有什么建议吗？就是你可以说一两个就可以了。
Pronunciation.
嗯
You really have to slow yourself down. I think if you're a native English speaker like me, we like to just English comes out real fast and it comes out all crushed together, or sort of all everything gets kind of mixed and homogenized. It's a lot smoother. We're filling the gaps a lot more, and we're putting words together, and phrases and sounds together, and a lot of this stuff. So um, it's kind of flowing. Like I want to say, this is maybe not a good analogy, but I sort of think English is more like water. If you could imagine it like a river, and it just flows real good. It's maybe why we have like such good rappers and stuff in English, and in French they have good rappers, but um, we're not here to talk about rap, Regan. Chinese is more like a mountain. I think it's kind of like a, if I could, comparing it to nature, China's like a mountain. So you have to go kind of slow with it. And each character has its own weight, like it's heavier. And so because of that, and because you have the annoying tones, so you naturally have to go slow to get the tones right,
嗯
um, and obviously they correspond to the characters, and the characters seem to have a lot more meaning in them than English words do, right? So I think English seems to be more um, vocal. It's more of a kind of feels better spoken, but Chinese is inherently more of a written language than it is of a spoken language, because it's all, if you look at it, China, there's many different spoken varieties of Chinese, and many of them sound different from one another. Um, and 普通话 is just like one sort of variety of a big soup of the Chinese language in a big pot. So
嗯哼
I think, yeah, think of it sort of like more like a mountain, and it's like a rock. These are rocks. They're hard and they're heavy. So you just go slow when you're trying to speak Chinese, and just pay attention, focus, and you can get a bit faster. Some phrases you can say quickly in Chinese. 叫什么名字, right? 叫什么名字, it's quite
嗯哼
fast. But like in all honesty, you should really just be slowing down with the Chinese. So that would be one thing. Just take it slow. Think of it more like as mountains instead of like a long river when you talk.
，interesting。
Um, yeah, that might help, but it might confuse you as well. Um, if I give one more for the Fayan, talk to people that have good pronunciation, so that when they say something you want to write down or you want clarification for, you can stop them and you can repeat exactly what it is that they said, because their pronunciation is so clear that you can hear, you can basically see the pinyin, you can see those English Roman letters and the tones, you can just see it. And also, yeah, so talk to people that speak really good. Obviously, talking to people that speak faster and a bit more, a bit lazier and a bit more native like is also necessary. But when you really want to sit down and have like an hour practicing speaking, you want to have someone that's real good sitting with you. I mean, you also need people that talk a lot, and people that are happy to talk, they're friendly, good ideas, creative, positive, and all this. You want to have lots of those people around you to talk to. And that yeah, you want to be able to hear every sound so you can pick it out and then talk about it.
嗯
And
哼。
that is not a lot of people that can do that for you. Most Chinese teachers are good like that, the way that they speak. Maybe I'll just give those two. Is that all right?
Yes, thank you. 我觉得听到这两个比喻很有意思啊。你觉得英语像水一样，但是中文像山一样，然后找到合适的人去聊天，就这两个建议都比较好。OK，那这个就是我的问题。然后你还有什么想要补充的吗？
Maybe if you study Chinese, like just realize that Chinese culture is like the opposite to everything from a lot of Western countries, Western cultures, especially
嗯哼。
like New Zealand, Australia, UK, France, Spain, dun dun, right? And so there's a cultural aspect that's probably more difficult than the language itself. So if you can somehow um, be sensitive and be interested to explore and learn about Chinese culture at the same time, that's going to help you a lot. Being really open to their culture is one of the probably the most difficult thing. Not just the language, but getting along with the people there. And second thing, Chinese is a super difficult language to learn. It's super painful and takes a really long time, like all languages do. But Chinese takes a little bit longer if you're coming from the English speaking background. So you just you got to fight your way through this thing. Yeah.
嗯，很好，好，谢谢 Regan。那这个就是我今天的问题，我们下次再聊啦。